Good morning, friends. I hope you have all had a fabulous weekend. And if you didn't spend it watching our latest video, I would definitely recommend it. It is a little bit different. It is the one where we went to Collect Fest. I'm personally very proud of it. I thought it was a different video. Plus, there's a really cool Pokemon pool at the end if you guys want to see that as well. So, would appreciate it if you checked it out. It's definitely not doing as well as I would hope it would. But I've had the feedback that it's also a bit different from our usual content, so that's probably why. But this weekend, we have also managed to have 10 sales come through with a nice week of us ending 1,500 in sales, I believe, which is absolutely stunning considering just before the weekend we only had, I think, around 900. So let me take you through what they are from lowest to highest. First up, we are at the Wedgwood shelf for our lowest 2 orders of the weekend. First up, we have, as per always, I will put the comps up on the screen so you can actually see what they look like. But we have this decanter. It has gone on to sell for $25 plus $13.20 postage. We actually did sell this a while ago, but then the person didn't pay. They did a massive order and then they just messaged us being like, oh, I can't pay. So we had to relist it. So it's been sitting with us for a while since then. So I'm glad to see it go. We did accept an offer, but still 25, as I've always said, is generally our lowest price that we really don't want to go past. So I'm glad that this still made the cut in terms of the sale that it went on to sell for. Next up, we also have, so it is in K4. Again, another Wedgwood that you cannot see, but this is a Valentine's Day plate with a really nice yellow border, but it's still your stereotypically blue and white coloured plate. This one has gone on to sell for $30 plus $13.20 shipping. So these are our only 2 Wedgwood sales for the weekend. Now this one was a super fast seller. Unexpectedly, it went on to sell within 24 hours of it being listed. Now this is a category that we don't know, I'm going to say, a whole lot about. Lighters. So it is this lighter. Little boat, Greek Australian line. I've sold everything as untested as is condition because they are all vintage, and to be honest, I didn't want to fill them up and then have to, I don't think you can sell filled up lighters on eBay, I assume. I don't know. I feel like that would just be a shipping hazard, right? Anywho, this one has gone on to sell for $39.99 plus postage. We bought this in a giant lot of vintage lighters and I've roughly guessed that this would be about $2 worth. So $2 into 40, very happy with that. Next up is a good old Henry consignment piece. It is something that was a little bit odd. I didn't actually know how well it was going to do, but it's a whole bunch of the little, what is it? Little Misters and Misses? Yeah. I think that's what they're called. These are all Macca's toys from, I think I put the year in there, maybe not, Happy Meal toys from 2008 and 2017. There is 27 of these in total, and I'd seen comps all over the shop for them, none for a bundle this big, but I am also conscious that in this bundle we did have a few duplicates. So I think there was 2 and double ups and 3 timeses of some of the same character. This has still gone on to sell though for $40 plus postage, which I'm very shocked about. So yeah, if you guys see these out in the wild, I probably wouldn't recommend. You have to get a lot of them to get it. Yeah, you'd have to get a lot of them for it to be worthwhile, but because this came from a deceased estate and we didn't pay for it, 40 is still a pretty good price point, I think, for these. Next up is a bit of an interesting one. It is these 2 Teletubby plushes. Lala and Poe, I believe. If you guys, I don't know, is it only Australian or is it UK? I think maybe it's a British show.
I have no idea.
Well, this is iconic for our childhood growing up. These 2 I only paid $2 for, and they have gone on to sell for $45 plus postage. I have tested them and they both work, but I think one of them sounded a bit weird. I can't remember. But also, as you can see, like there are marks on the face with like paint and stuff on the belly as well, and it's still got on to sell for $45. So a pretty cool find picking these two up. Let me know, guys, if this has ever happened to you, because it's probably only ever happened to us about 2 or 3 times, and it is when someone buys an item, then sends you a cancellation for it. So of course we accept, block them, relist it, and then it instantly goes on to sell again. This item has been sitting in our store since November last year and like no traction. I think we've had a few offers on it. It is this Xbox controller. This is part of our first bulk gaming buy. It has gone on to sell for the full asking price of $49.99 plus postage. Previously, like the order that we cancelled also went on to sell for full price. But just before that, someone had sent us an offer and we had countered for still a bit cheaper than the full price, but not a whole lot off. So I don't know, there must have just been a lot of action on it. Because that happened, it then went on to sell instantly once we relisted it. But has that ever happened to you guys? Because it's definitely happened to us a few times where someone's bought it, cancelled it for whatever reason because they accidentally purchased it or whatever, and then we've deleted and relisted it and it's gone on to sell instantly. But before any of that had happened, it'd been sitting there for a while. So let me know. Maybe it's just to do with the eBay algorithm. Maybe they then see sold comps because obviously our sold listing would reappear. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a weird one. Still very happy for that to go on to sell for $50. Hi. We have a Henry consignment piece, and it's not that shirt. It's one of our very fun looking shirts. It's this one. Follow me, friends. It is a John Lennon shirt. I don't even know if John Lennon was actually a brand, but it is brand new with tags, which always makes everything a lot more appealing. This has gone on to sell on offer for $58.50 plus $9.90 postage. Henry has given us permission to be sending out a fairly good offers on his stuff, especially the clothes. He wants the clothes to move, to get rid of, because as we've said to him, we don't love selling clothes. It's not always a fast seller for us. So I think I had this listed, I think it would have been like $69 or something. I think I gave them a 10% off offer, and it's only been listed for maybe like 2 weeks, and they took it instantly. So I feel like with a lot of Henry's clothes, I'm definitely doing a bit more of like a 10% off immediately sort of offer, or happy to negotiate. So if you do see some clothing in our store, I mean, some of it won't be Henry's, but a lot of like shirts will be his. So if you see anything there that you want, definitely shoot us a message, send us a juicy offer, and more likely than not, we'll probably accept it. Another Dreamcast game has gone on to sell. I'm very happy, guys. This also is going to a repeat buyer. They did send us a message with their offer because I think we originally had it for $69.99 and they sent us an offer, which we happily accepted, of $60. The reason he did send us a discount and the message, as you guys know, I usually don't like messages, but because this came from a repeat buyer and the message essentially was saying the jeweled cases for these cost like $30 just for a new one, and he wants to complete it. So he was just asking for $10 off so that he could try and complete this. I am more than happy to do that. I think in terms of actual costs per each of these games, we're in about $13. So for us to still be able to sell it for $60 plus postage, that's a good profit for us. Plus it means that this lovely person has a chance to actually complete it without spending too much money. I know a few of you guys have commented down below in the comments that without them being in the original jewel cases, it does make them less appealing, which I agree. So I think in terms of accepting some offers, I will be a lot more accepting for these ones. But again, as long as it's not stupid, and I did price them considering the fact that they are in DVD cases, but you do get everything with it, like the manual. The disc is in great condition. You got the front and the back art, so it's all pretty much there, bar the jewel case. So we're at our final two, and this one also has a bit of a story to it. So Matt and I had a 90s themed birthday party that we were going to. So we were going to some op shops, perusing around, and at one of them we found a whole bunch of these micro machine mini cars. They've also got some Hot Wheels in there, genuine and not. There is a mixture. We paid $8 for this container. Matt didn't really know what I was picking up at the time, but I showed him some comps. He was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. We put it on auction for $100. It ran, no one bid, it ended after 7 days. I was like, you know what? I normally give everything 2 chances of being on auction, just because we know that sometimes someone who's looking for the item isn't necessarily on eBay every week. So they might have missed it last week. So we give them another chance to get it this week. We then had someone send us an offer about a day into the auction for $100. For us, I'm like, yep, very happy to take that, because it went through a whole auction, didn't sell. It didn't currently have any watches on it this time. It had been live for a day. I would rather just take the $100 than us have to reduce the price. And to be honest, if the auction had ended without anyone bidding, we would have just listed it for a flat 100 as well. So for that, very happy to take. We then got a message, it would have been like a day or so after, of someone who, I'll read you this out because let me know your opinion on it. I personally didn't love it. Like, I don't know, Matt, what was your feelings on it?
Yeah, didn't love it.
So they sent us a message going, I know it's sold, but would you take $150? My kid really wants some of these, and this is a great start off to her collection. Then a minute later, they go, just kidding, there is a really rare piece in it. The orange ambulance is worth a lot of money. So the little orange ambulance, like, I looked it up and I'm a bit confused, because I saw in, like, if you have all of the set that it comes with, I think it can go for like $1,000. But the actual ambulance itself, I did find one on eBay currently for like £8. So I wouldn't think it's that rare. Like, for us to be listing something for what, $16, we wouldn't do it. Like, as I've said, our bar is $25. So the piece on its own didn't seem to be worth a whole lot. But then I saw another listing that said it was for £80. So I'm a bit confused with that. But to be honest, I really didn't like the fact that they were trying to go with the kid angle. And then they're like, no, just kidding, I actually want this piece. And let me know, guys, if I was a little bit rude or a little bit too blunt here. But I said, this is the second time this lot has been posted on auction, and the first time it ended with no bids. We're sorry, but you've had plenty of chances to bid on this, and we won't cancel the sale on a person who has gotten it fair and square. Best of luck on your micro machine hunt. I feel like to ask us to cancel on someone else, not only does that open us up for negative feedback, because 100% that person is just going to say we cancelled it for no reason, but I think it's also not fair that this person had a week and a little bit longer to bid on it, but they just chose not to. That's on them. They missed out. I'm glad that someone else is getting a good deal, because for us, we spent $8 on it. For us to turn 8 into 100, absolutely phenomenal. Like, we're not complaining about that sale at all. But this tact is never going to work on us, and I don't know who it would work on. Like, I get some people just want the money, and actually there is a TikToker reseller that I've seen. He more than happily cancels and relists and takes things at a higher price, and he says it's just the hustle, it's the game, like that's what you have to do. But a lot of people question his morals, and I feel like I sort of would too, and I think we're pretty good people. But yeah, let me know, guys, if that's something that you would do in that situation. Like, would you accept the higher offer if someone else had won it fair and square and you had already accepted it? Would you even bother replying to this person? I've now blocked them because I honestly don't want anyone with that attitude buying our stuff. So yeah, it was just a bit of an interesting one, and I hope we did the right thing by keeping the original sale. Our highest sale of the weekend is, of course, a gaming console, guys. This is a PlayStation 2 Slim that we picked up for $12 at the Dalwood Church sale. If you guys watched that video, Matt and I were very excited. We found it on top of the recorder flute box. It was just sitting there. It was slightly away from where the consoles normally are, so I feel like that's probably why it was missed. But of course, we're picking up a Slim for $12. I then decided to bundle it with a few games. I can't recall if it had a remote with it or not, if I had to add that as well. But the games that I've added, I guessed that it would be around $5. So in total, we've spent around $17 on this bundle. And guys, it's gone on to sell for $169.95 plus postage. Absolutely insane. This has been literally in our store since May, but that's not that long, and we've had so many offers on this piece, and I've sent out a few 5% offers, but it actually went on to sell for the full asking price. So very happy with that, guys. I think I have 2 giant plastic tubs sitting in my station that are full of tested consoles. I just need to clean them and list them. This is what I'm probably going to try and do this week, just power through a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, I picked up a lot of goodies this weekend, which I'm very excited to list. And funnily enough, I actually got a PlayStation 3 console there as well. So I'm going to have to test and clean that one. Still, this is where the money's at, guys. I feel like we always have the most success when it comes to selling consoles. We've just had another order sneakily come through. We were waiting for their payment. We do have currently, I think, another 3 orders that are still pending payment, but this one has been paid in time, so I can show you. I have these 3 Littlest Pet Shop plushies. Now, this one is a bit of a sad sale, and I do feel bad because last week we had someone reach out to us saying, do you guys ship to the States? Obviously, we've had actually quite a few people reach out to us recently about this, and I've just been saying the same thing to all of them. Out of our control, Ozpost has cancelled any sale of goods shipping over to the States. There's nothing that we can do about it. She was saying how long she's been looking specifically for this ladybird plush and was basically like, can you send it as a gift? I said, we're not about being dodgy, so no, sorry. And she's like, fingers crossed it'll change, but I really want this one. Any chance you could hold on to it for us? And I'm just like, I can't wait, because the minimum amount of time that Trump has said is 6 months with the minimum 80 USD tariff on imported goods. And so, I mean, I also said to Matt, this has been sitting in our store forever. We just had a look. We bought this back in August 2023. Paid $3 for them. So that means they've been sitting in our store for what, over 700 days. It's probably one of our oldest listings. I currently have a sale of, I believe it's 20% off on anything in our store that's been live for over 250 days. Plus, if I see some watches on them, I will send them an additional 5% off offer. I won't go anymore because the discount's quite big. But this one was one of the ones that got purchased then with that additional 5% off. So this has gone on to sell for $22 plus postage, which, as you know, is below our usual rate. But if something's been sitting in your store for 700 days, you got to accept that it's not worth it. And I do feel bad because the lady in the States was asking, she's like, I'll pay extra just for the ladybug. And I'm like, I can't do it. There's no way of me being able to do this. So I think it's a sad thing. But again, that traction has now led us to actually having a sale, and it's going to someone local, and hopefully they enjoy it as well. Absolutely stunning weekend of sales. Could not be happier. Before I go though, I do just want to quickly pick your guys' brains about something that I did post on TikTok around whether or not this was a good or bad buy. I've had mixed results. Some people saying absolutely fantastic. Other people were like, waste of money, good luck to ya. I think this one's just a bit of an interesting category, and that is the world of, maybe I shouldn't show that one, a bit risque, but gaming strategy guides. I bought 50 strategy guides for $50. So I've got this list here, a whole bunch here. We've got GTA, we've got Resident Evil, I've got Tomb Raider, I've got a whole bunch of gun Tom Clancy ones. I've still got some more that I haven't gone through yet, and also a different style of them. And basically where I'm sort of at is figuring out how best to sell these and how best to price them. What I've been going through is my little pile here are all the ones that I can find listed online but none have sold. These ones over here are all having sold comps, but quite a lot of them are unfortunately from the States. Now, with the postage situation, I feel like looking at comps from the US does become somewhat problematic, and I don't know how accurate it's going to be because, yeah, someone over there is willing to pay for it. But if I have no listings, no sold comps in Australia, I do find it quite hard to price things. So I would love your opinion on the best approach here. Should I still be pricing it at the American price point, but because it's in Australia, the shipping is cheaper, so they have a better option to get it if they want it? Should I be pricing it a lot cheaper? Should I be doing auctions? Should I be bundling them in similar categories? So as I said, like we've got 5 or 6 different Tomb Raider ones. Do I just make a giant Tomb Raider bundle, or do I try and sell them off individually? Similarly with Resident Evil, we have, again, I think about 5 different Resident Evil strategy guides. So is it worth bundling them all or trying to sell them individually when I'm only really finding sold comps from the States? I'm not entirely sure what the best plan is. I think Matt and I are looking at pricing it probably just below American sold comps, and again with our rule of thumb of if it doesn't meet our 25 plus postage, then I might start looking at bundling some of them together. I might do a whole lot. We did discuss auctions, but I just think for something like this that's so specific and unique, I don't see an auction particularly working in our favor. If anything, I think it'll either go too cheaply or it just won't sell at all, and then I'll have to spend time rebundling, regrouping, rejigging the listings, which ideally I don't want to be doing. Unless you guys think an auction is the way to go, let me know. Originally, I was like, these would actually be kind of cool to put on Whatnot, but as you guys know, we're not on Whatnot yet. If we did a gaming show, is this something that would be of interest to purchase in there? Let me know. I mean, we've still also got a whole bunch of boxed stuff sitting here. I have a whole bunch of untested consoles. They're the 2 tubs that I was telling you guys about in terms of our tested consoles that I have ready to go. I just need to list them. Like, I have a lot of gaming stuff, but I'm also, I don't think it's worth holding out for Whatnot. I think I just need to be pumping out eBay listings, and then eventually if we do get onto Whatnot, I can pull stuff from the store, but I can't keep waiting for this opportunity to happen. So I think, unfortunately, even though I did have in mind that these would be a really cool Whatnot item, I'm just going to try and post it on eBay. But I'm just not sure how to do it. So if you have any thoughts or advice or even any experience in this area, I would be super appreciative. I'm always learning from you guys as well, which I find is so valuable. And I hope that we provide a bit of insight to you as well and how you might be better able to improve your business. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what other amazing sales you've had this weekend or amazing finds. I'm always looking out for the next bolo, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.